According to the website Crowdsourcing Week, crowdsourcing is the practice of engaging a crowd or a group for a common goal, often innovation, problem solving, or efficiency. Its origins are somewhat debated, but there is a consensus that the overall concept gained prominence through the book The Wisdom of the Crowds, Why the Many Are Smarter Than the Few, and how collective wisdom shapes business, economies, societies, and nations. This book was published in 2004 from an author by the name of James Surowiecki. Surowiecki refers to three types of crowd wisdom. The first one is cognition, which basically has a base in market forces. We have numerous examples on how cognition is used. One can possibly see it. eBay is using some of these elements where the group finally defines what the fair value is. Another vehicle utilizing this method would be the iWay electronic exchange, where people bet with play money to estimate an outcome of a situation or an event. The predicted outcome of the recent US elections have been uncannily accurate. Why is this so? Let's stay with the election example. If you were to ask someone who will win, the person being asked will most likely have a personal preference. If you change the question and ask, who would you most bet on to win, not only does the person take into consideration her own opinion, but also the opinion of everyone else who can vote. We see patterns that can be found within the data and forecasting video lecture from this week, where the accuracy gets better the closer we get to the event. Some examples of these exchanges can be found within the reference section of this course. The next element that Surowiecki talks about is coordination. Let's take a look at the exercise on driving in a multi-lane highway. Each individual driver is making a multitude of decisions which are very much based on the situation and the behavior of the other drivers. Some might disagree with me on this point, but it works remarkably well. The author's last example is tied to cooperation. You'll see some of these elements in game theory video lecture following this subject, but here is the price of the price of non-cooperation is much higher than cooperation, so people cooperate. Of course, crowdsourcing is not a general panacea. Certain conditions are required. The Delphi estimation method uses some of these components in that one is careful to ensure that the opinion does not bias another. In comparison to a technique we looked at in week 4, focus groups, the group needs to be heterogeneous, not homogeneous. Lastly, this form of estimation should be performed in a spontaneous manner. So you might be thinking, well, what does this have to do with business analysis? We as BAs need to perform estimation exercises, and this technique can, when used properly, reveal a certain insight that is either not possible with other methods or can be used to come up with a quick response that does not require various analysis. One way this technique is used within the Agile community in estimating the effort to complete various tasks is called planning poker. Here's the idea. Number one, there is no benefit in taking longer in coming up with an estimate. So let's make it short and sweet. Number two, it's an estimate, not a promise. Number three, it's a method that allows the team to develop, and one can use the results of the game to measure how smoothly the team is working together. Number four, it's measurable through time. We've included some of the links to further info on planning poker in the resource section, so feel free to take a look if this game sounds interesting. Well, that was crowdsourcing in a nutshell. Thanks for watching.